Hello, Assalamu alaikum everyone. Myself, Dr. Hafiz Wakas Kamran, from the platform of Econometric and Research Gateway. Today, we are going to discuss the top 10 databases for both time series and the panel data. So, without losing any time, we are moving towards. So, these databases are very much beneficial in order to download the data for the different macroeconomic indicators, especially over the past, you can say, couple of decades. So, the very first database is basically known as OECD.stat database, which is created by OECD economies. Once you will open this database, you will find several themes and sub themes from which you can download the data for your relevant proxies. For example, when you will type simple stat.oec.org, this is basically the URL for this database. After clicking on this, you will find several themes and the sub themes. Here are basically the sub themes, main themes over here, including the general statistics, development, economic projections, environment, and so on. So, if you are interested in downloading the data related to the environmental proxies, or you can say the data related to the finance, globalization, you can simply click on any of you can say the proxy, and you can just move on towards this window so that you can download your data. Okay. The second database is known as uh, International Monetary Fund data for the financial development. So this database is basically created by IMF, which provides mainly the data related to the financial development index, including the several other financial proxies as well. So the financial development index primarily concerns with the financial institutions and financial markets based on the depth, access, efficiency, and so on. So opening this database is quite simple. You simply need to move on towards, you can say, this URL, which is basically provided in the very first comment of this YouTube channel. So after opening this database, you will find this main window. Over there, there is actually the downloading option, and after clicking on simple the Excel file, you can find the data related to the different proxies for the financial development related to the financial institutions and the financial market. The third database for the today's discussion is known as Global Footprint Network. This database is mainly discussing the data related to the ecological footprints of the world economies over the past couple of decades. So let me tell you something about the ecological footprints. As you know that whenever we talk about the environmental degradation or environmental pollution, we can utilize carbon emission, greenhouse gas emission, and similar other proxies. But the proxy of ecological footprints is one of the most comprehensive indicator to measure the environmental degradation or sustainability related to the other measures like carbon emission. So here is basically the URL for this database, which is basically www.footprintnetwork.org. So once you will open this database, this window will be appeared in front of you. You simply need to move on towards tools and resources. By clicking on tools or resources, you will find open data platform, and by clicking on this one, you need to just provide some, you can say, the initial information related to the name, first name, last name, your email address, and so on. Here comes another option which is called the data downloads and the license. So you can also find some advanced data facilities, but those facilities are for those facilities you need to get the subscriptions as well. Okay. The fourth database is known as Worldwide Governance Indicator. This database is also known as the WGI. WGI basically concerning with the governance measures of the world economy based upon the six indicators which are entitled as vice and accountability, political stability and absence of law, like violence and terrorism, governmental effectiveness, regulatory quality, rule of law, and control of corruption. So once you will open this database, this window will be appeared in front of you. And here it is very simple to download the data for these proxies. You simply need to open the main page And once you will open the main page, you can find the download full data set in the form of stata or in the form of Excel. You simply need to click on either of your option you want to like. So your data will be downloaded into your desktop or into your laptop. Okay, the fifth database is basically known as Grunjan Growth and Development Center, for which you can find the data under the title of Penword table. Penword table is basically providing you the database data related to different macroeconomic indicators like inflation, GDP, unemployment, and specifically the Human Development Index. So once you will open this database, it will appear something like this. So there is nothing you can set up for the downloading of the data. You simply need to click on either Excel or the Stata, and your data will be downloaded into Excel format or into the Stata format. The sixth database is known as Global Terrorism Database or GTD. Basically, the Global Terrorism Database is providing the data related to the terrorism and related activities in different economies. And once again, to download the data is quite simple. You simply need to just type start.umd.edu/gtd global terrorism database. This window will be available in front of you, and after this you need to simply click on using GTD, and here comes the downloading option. The seventh database, which is dealing with the globalization, is known as KOF Globalization Database. The KOF Globalization Index, which is merely focusing on economic, social, and the political dimensions of the globalization. So once you will provide the relevant URL for this database, this window will be appeared in front of you, and you can easily download the data by clicking on the data option. Okay, the eighth database which I am going to share with you guys is known as the Fraser Institute database. The Fraser Institute is mainly dealing with the data related to the economic freedom of the world economies over the past several decades. So once you will type this URL www.fraserinstitute.org, you will find this window in front of you, and after this you simply need to click on the economic freedom. After clicking on the economic freedom, uh, you will find here comes the different, you can say, the ranges starting from 1970 to 2020. So you simply need to just provide your relevant range, and you can download your relevant data. Here comes the data set option. The second last data, for which we already talked about earlier in the part 1 and part 2 videos, is known as the data related to the World Development Indicators. Basically, the World Development Indicators, or widely known as WDI, is the database which is created by the World Bank, covering several main indicators or the sub indicators. So this is basically the layout. Here are basically the main indicators, and after clicking on any indicator like environment, you can find several sub indicators, and the downloading option is quite simple. Just click on the relevant sub indicator, and here you can find the downloading option either in CSV, XML, or Excel option. The last database which I'm going to talk about is known as ESG Indicator World Bank. This database is created by the World Bank, which is mainly focusing on environmental, social, and governance pillars, or known as ESG indicators. ESG indicators are mainly talking about the corporate social responsibility, mainly from the perspective of, you can say, different regional economies. So once you will provide the relevant URL into your search window, this screen will be appearing in front of you. So using this database is once again quite simple. Here comes the three option: the country, series, and the time. Once you need to select any of your relevant economy. For example, I'm interested in downloading the data for Australian economy. I will click on Australia. Here comes add series. You have to click on, you have to add series For the data, here comes the different series. Maybe we have to wait for a couple of seconds because it is actually not working. Okay, simply just you need to provide the add series option, and here comes the add time. Once you will provide all these three requirements by adding the series and the time duration for which the data for the ESG is required, you simply need to move on towards the download option. And while clicking on the download, here comes the Excel, CSV, and the other format to download the data. So, guys, this is all about from my side. Hope so you like it. And don't forget to subscribe Econometric and Research Gateway for upcoming videos. Thank you so much.